Do you want your opinions to be validated? Do you want to see yourself in a story? Do you enjoy a game more when the main character looks exactly like you? So do I, to be honest. A lot of games, especially RPG games, have a character creator and people spend hours making their character looks like an idealized version of themselves, which usually means less fat and less bold. Or they create an original character. And the people that choose to completely skip character creation, you're doing it wrong. But as much as I enjoy spending hours to give a character my ugly mug, not every main character needs to look like me. The whole narrative that you can't relate to the character unless it looks like you is completely false. Whether it's a game or a movie, people can relate to characters because they are brave, cool, funny, and well written, as long as the story is somewhat entertaining. The idea of different races and cultures being represented in stories is not bad, but there is a good way of doing it, and the other way. The world was just not ready for it, and it will never be. We don't need a show about space Karens, we already have too many of them here, all over the world. And Karens are one of these groups that doesn't need any more representation. A few years ago on some Witcher forum, I saw a guy asking if there are black people in the Witcher universe. He was very happy to hear that there is in fact a land called Zerkania that is inhabited by a lot of people from different races. Why was that important to him? Fans of novels often like to write themselves into the stories. That's the reason, well, one of the reasons, why we have so much fan fiction. And some fan stories are terrible, that's how we got Mary Sue, but people write them because they care. They care so much that they want to write themselves in an authentic way that doesn't contradict the lore. In many of these cases, the fans care about the story much more than the actual writers. The Witcher Blood Origin from Netflix is a good example of writers not giving a f***, and it's one of the worst adaptations in history. It completely destroys the world building, nothing makes sense, and it's so diverse that there is no true diversity anymore because every faction looks the same. Saying that fans want more diversity and representation is true. Some people really want that. However, they want to be represented in good stories. Nobody cares about bad stories because they're bad. Another good example of this is Dragon Age The Veilguard, a game that completely destroyed the beloved Dragon Age franchise. People who criticize Veilguard like to focus on Tash, because she's loud, annoying and obnoxious. But she's not the reason why the game failed. All you need to do is ask yourself, would the game be good without Tash? The answer is, of course, not. RPG games like Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age and Neverwinter Nights were always my absolute favorites. I used to only play games like that. However, each of these games had at least one companion that I hated. In Baldur's Gate 2, which to this day is my favorite game, there's a cleric named Anomen. I hated this guy. You meet him in a tavern and the first things he says to you is, "Are you good or are you evil?"
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
I'm non-binary.
I beat Baldur's Gate many times with different team combinations, so I had to recruit him at least once, and it was painful. The difference is that I could kill Anomen, explode him to pieces, petrify him, turn him into a squirrel, or just ignore him. In Dragon Age The Veilguard, you are forced to tolerate your companions and all of them are annoying and poorly written. It's obvious that Dragon Age The Veilguard was made by people that don't care about the franchise, because they erased everything Dragon Age used to be and replaced it with something new.
Let the past die. Kill it, if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
They basically did the exact same thing Disney did to Star Wars. The main appeal of these games, at least for me, was that the choices you made in the game mattered. They let you shape Dragon Age world history, and they let you transfer these choices to the next games. Veilguard not only doesn't let you make any important decisions, but they erase the importance of the choices you made in previous games, making all of the previous games irrelevant. Not to mention a complete desecration of world building for the sake of telling some lame-ass story. If you are a new player, you won't even notice that, but for a long-time fan of the franchise, this is a deal breaker. It's impossible to like if you are a Dragon Age fan, unless you are high on copium. And the most important reason why the Veilguard failed is that this game just doesn't make you feel good. Usually these games let you roleplay as a great leader, a respectable commander. You have your own stronghold or sometimes a spaceship. You decide how to upgrade them, you improve walls, hire mercenaries, make connections with people you saved, and as a favor they will help you in your final battle. And you know that all that work that you put into making your stronghold stronger and the alliances that you made are the reasons why you will beat the Dark Lord. In Veilguard you don't feel like a great leader. Instead, Dragon Age The Veilguard lets you roleplay as my grandmother, who was a kindergarten principal. Back in my days, you had to stop your dwarf companion from being racist towards your elf companion. In Veilguard, companions act like children, and you, as expected of nice grandma, have to keep them in line by teaching them that arguing is stupid and we shouldn't be mean to each other because that's not very nice. Actually, the dialogue in this game is worse than that. When I was a little young person, my psychiatrist gave me a Diablo game, but my mom never let me play it. Instead, she gave me some Christian game about Jesus that I never played. I already was preached to every Sunday when I had to go to church. I don't want my games to teach me moral lessons, I would rather play Baldur's Gate 2. Dragon Age The Veilguard has so little to do with the Dragon Age franchise that with very few changes it could be released under a different name instead of attaching itself like a parasite to the popular franchise. People who make Veilguard didn't try to make another Dragon Age game. This game's main purpose is not to entertain players but to preach at them. Because there is so much negativity in the gaming space, you think it's your holy purpose to teach gamers how to be good people. The problem is, we don't want to be good people, we just want to kill dragons, or demons, or throw a goblin child off the cliff. Good riddance, you poor wretched creature. And this was the reason why Dragon Age The Veilguard failed. And no amount of coping and whining on the social media will ever change that.